You're looking at pictures from Hawaii's Big Island. One of the world's most active volcanoes, Kilauea, has erupted. People living nearby are being told to leave. The pictures are spectacular. We've got Natasha Fata working on the story. So what's happening there, Natasha?
The volcano erupts and this stream of lava slices through the forested area, makes its way into residential areas, and as a result, a number of people have been forced to evacuate, and there is no foreseeable end in sight. We don't know when this is going to calm down and people can return to their homes. Let's show you a map of where all of this is taking place, just so people can situate where the volcano is. If we could bring up that map and show people the areas that have had to be evacuated. So Leilani Estates, which is on the map, everyone from that area has been told they are under an evacuation order, and a neighboring suburb of Lanipuna Gardens have also been told that they need to leave. So you can see how close they are on that island to the volcano. Now, about 1,500 people have been told to leave, and we are aware that there's about 1,500 residents in Leilani Estates. So virtually everyone in the community has been told they have to go. What you're looking at now is time-lapse video because there has been so much volcanic activity happening on the island in the past few days. So this is from several days ago, showing you the activity. As a result, we've had this volcano explode. One resident told the Honolulu Star Advisor that he saw the lava rise up in the air 150 feet. It was possibly the most frightening thing he has ever seen in his life. All these people are now forced to take cover, and in the meantime, fortunately, we can report no reports of injuries or deaths. The situation is quite serious, so as a result, the governor has asked the National Guard to step in and aid in the evacuation order. In the meantime, the Hawaii Volcano Observatory says they're expecting more lava and they're expecting more outbreaks to happen. So people need to be on high alert and be ready to go should that order come. And in the meantime, the County Civil Defense Agency says even if you're out of your home, if you're on the island, there is a concern about that sulfur dioxide that's being emitted into the air. Even if you're not near it and you're in one of those shelters, it could be very harmful if you have asthma, if you have any sort of heart condition, if you're elderly, or if you're very young. That sulfuric dioxide could be very, very painful just in daily respiratory breathing. So they're watching for all of that, but in the meantime, they really don't know when things are going to get better and when people can get back into their homes.
A volcano on the Big Island is spewing lava. Kilauea is forcing people to leave their homes.
And CBS News' Cara Finstrom joins us now with some incredible video. Cara.
It is. Authorities have been warning folks there that this could happen since last week to be prepared. Now the National Guard has moved in to help them get out. Let's start by giving you a look at where this is happening. The community of Leilani Estates on Hawaii's Big Island is under evacuation orders. That is on the southern slope of the Kilauea volcano where that lava is flowing down closer to homes. We got some video to show you of the lava spewing up there in the distance behind that roadblock. Our CBS affiliate in Hawaii reports in some areas, lava is now shooting up about 100 feet. Fire officials say they have detected extremely high levels of dangerous sulfur dioxide in the air as well. The lava first chewed through forest lands, then started bubbling up in paved streets. The eruption comes after a series of earthquakes on the island over the last couple of days, including a magnitude 5 tremor on Thursday morning. We've also got time-lapse video of the molten flow that geologists recorded last week. This is what caused authorities on the island to warn residents the volcano might erupt. At this point, no one knows how long this will go on. One local said he heard a loud noise when the eruption happened Thursday.
We could hear the lava exploding right from the house. And so, you know, is the house going to still be there when we go back over there? I ran in, I grabbed the dogs, threw them in a crate, put them in the car. Went in my room, just grabbed up an armload of clothes, and here we are. And we moved from California to get away from forest fires.
That volcano, one of 5 on the island. The U.S. Geological Survey says lava has flowed from it over the past 3 decades, and that in total, that lava has covered more than 48 square miles.
Well, more earthquakes on Hawaii's Big Island. A 6.9 magnitude happened yesterday.
People there have already been dealing with the lava threat from a volcanic eruption that's forcing some evacuations and filling the air with sulfur dioxide. At least 2 homes were burned. KCAL 9's Daniel Nottingham has the latest.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has been erupting, sending ash into the sky and lava spewing into neighborhoods on the Big Island. At least 2 structures have been damaged, and officials are also worried about the high level of sulfur dioxide in the air.
There's a crack right there in the road. The road's cracking.
This cell phone video shows the ground breaking open with the intense heat.
We could hear the lava exploding.
Stephen Clapper was among thousands of people who only had minutes to pack up and get out.
We had to evacuate my mother without any portable oxygen, so that's the first concern. She's 88 years old.
Nearby schools are closed, and officials say they may open temporary classrooms.
We're getting close to the end of the school year, and we want to allow the students to be able to complete that, but obviously we want to do it in a way that is safe for everyone.
Time-lapse video taken last week shows the activity of the lava lake inside Kilauea's crater. Experts worry the magma could travel underground and threaten homes miles away. With mandatory evacuations in place right now, the National Guard has been mobilized to provide security to about 800 structures. Kilauea has been in a constant state of eruption since 1983. Officials say they cannot predict how long this eruption will last.
Good evening, I'm Rena Ninen. We begin with Hawaii's Big Island on high alert. The massive Kilauea volcano continues to erupt, sending lava into residential neighborhoods and toxic gas into the air. The island of nearly 200,000 has also been rocked by earthquakes, including its most powerful earthquake in more than 40 years. Carter Evans is there.
Rena, police have surrounded the community where the eruption is occurring. They're keeping everyone out, not just because of the lava, but also the deadly fumes. The spewing lava and toxic gases are showing no signs of slowing down.
Oh my gosh.
A powerful 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the Big Island on Friday, the largest in 43 years. Since then, several new eruptive cracks have opened up in the residential community of Leilani Estates.
Crazy.
Each hundreds of yards long, splashing lava into the air and flooding streets. 2 houses have burned so far and thousands evacuated.
The smoke is really getting thick, and you can really smell it in the air.
Herschel Hood tried to convince his neighbor to leave with him.
He just refuses to go. I've been to him twice today, and he just won't leave.
This part of the Big Island has seen some major lava flows before. This one happened in 1955. It went all the way to the ocean. That smoke back there is where the new eruption is. Kilauea is the youngest and most active volcano on the Big Island. Just a few miles from the current lava flow at a community meeting, authorities tried to explain the unpredictability of the volcanic cracks.
All of a sudden one opened up, steam started coming out, and a red lava. That's how fast it was happening.
Talmadge Magno, administrator for Hawaii County Civil Defense, says at least 6 active fissures have opened up so far.
You know, we're starting to see a pattern, a kind of a line.
And it could continue happening.
Yes.
And we really don't know how long.
Yes, that's the sad part about it. It could be happening for a long time. Or on the other end, like I said, mysteriously, it could just end.
There is definitely still a lot of volcanic activity here. We felt several earthquakes last night, and water is now becoming an issue. Authorities are urging people to restrict usage as lava approaches one of the major water mains in the area.
At least 26 homes have been destroyed on Hawaii's Big Island by lava flowing from the Kilauea volcano. Hundreds of people have been told to evacuate because the lava is still moving towards neighborhoods, and there's no indication on when it will stop. More eruptions, more destruction, and more concern for people forced to leave their homes.
Tears. A lot of tears. Saying goodbye to my house.
Evacuation orders were extended because the red-hot lava still spewing from the Kilauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island is moving erratically.
I wish volcanoes behaved like clocks and were very predictable.
But not everyone is happy about the safety measures.
The longer we wait, the more it's going to turn into, or could turn into, lava flows blocking roads, and then we don't have a chance.
Our house is up on stilts, and so we're hoping that the shaking didn't cause things to, or damage the home, but we don't know. We can't get in.
U.S. Geological Survey says at least 10 volcanic vents have opened, so the 1,700 people living in the community of Leilani Estates have been ordered to evacuate.
Within 5 minutes, there was probably a 3-foot wall of lava on the street, and now my house might be gone. So that's just devastating. Might have to start over at age 56.
Thursday's eruption was followed by a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. Since then, molten lava has destroyed several homes, and poisonous gases continue to spew out. And officials believe more eruptions are likely.
There's nothing to say that it can't develop some additional pressure and push beyond Leilani Estates to the east tip of the island.
Despite the threat, some residents say this is just the gamble you take when you decide to live in paradise.
Wow! I wish I could see this live. Unbelievable. No way, dude. This is like 30 yards away from me. I'm safe, the wind's blowing the other way. Standing on a nice dry patch of ground, hopefully. Woo! My God. Holy shit. Holy shit. You gotta see it and be here to believe it. Wow! Woo-hoo. Incredible.
Lava shot through another crack on Hawaii's Big Island yesterday, threatening a nearby power plant. It has been 1 week since lava first burst from the ground outside the Kilauea volcano. There are now 15 fissures. The lava flow covers 116 acres. That's nearly the size of 88 football fields. That's huge. 36 buildings have been destroyed. Carter Evans is in Pahoa, Hawaii. Carter, good morning.
Good morning. The danger isn't just that underground lava oozing from those cracks in the ground. Geologists also say there is an increasing chance of explosions in the volcano's main crater. Sounding like a massive blowtorch, fiery lava from Kilauea continued a relentless crawl down the streets of Leilani Estates. This area has been under mandatory evacuation since large cracks started appearing across the community a week ago. This fissure opened up right in someone's front yard. You can see the lava stop just before reaching the home, but the air is still toxic.
Got 0.0 ppm.
I know some people have defied the evacuation orders. They're still living inside there.
They're going to leave when the lava reaches their door, and it's become an issue because we're going to need to rescue them at some point.
The active fissures are lining up near a major geothermal power plant, which has now been shut down. But it still houses some 30,000 gallons of flammable liquids. It's a growing concern for both the public and the governor, who wants the dangerous solvent out by today.
We want to make sure that we can remove it from the site as quickly as possible.
Heavy clouds of smoke were seen coming from Kilauea Wednesday, likely triggered by a rockfall from the crater walls. As lava levels inside the volcano decrease, the danger of an eruption can actually increase. When the molten rock reaches groundwater levels, pressurized steam can cause an explosion, shooting rocks and ash miles away from the crater. What is the biggest challenge for the Guard going forward?
The biggest challenge for the Guard is not knowing what's going to happen. With the weather changing, new vents opening up, we don't know what's going to happen, so we're trying to prepare for the worst.
Today, the threat of an explosive volcanic eruption is an immediate concern. Most of Volcano's National Park will be closed starting tomorrow. There's also an increasing threat of VOG, or volcanic fog, sweeping across the islands.
After fountains of lava and columns of toxic gas, Kilauea's most explosive blast could be on the horizon.
Wow!
The volcano may blow its top as the hot lava lake inside drains into cooler groundwater. A catastrophic steam explosion can launch ballistic boulders the size of cars in the air.
It's going to be raining down on people. We do not want people to get injured or have a rock fall on their head.
Tonight, concern of another catastrophe. A race to remove hazardous underground gas stored at a geothermal plant where lava is close.
This lava field stopped just short of a home over here. It's still warm. You can feel the heat coming off of it. It also cracked the earth. Here, steam is still venting.
Now the threat of the largest eruption yet. The tropical paradise forever changed.
A new fissure is spewing lava and toxic gas in Hawaii this morning. There are now 19 fissures threatening homes and people's health on the Big Island. The most active erupted for the first time over the weekend. And there are now growing concerns the Kilauea volcano could erupt in a massive steam explosion. David Begno is in Pahoa, Hawaii with the latest on this story. David, good morning.
Good morning. We're on a ridge, on a ladder, because the vantage is better. And boy, is it quite a show. We're watching these lava bursts come through the fissures, the cracks in the earth. The people who live here have their bags packed. They are ready to evacuate. In fact, they're sleeping at night with gas masks right beside the bed just in case the wind shifts direction and toxic fumes start blowing this way. Newly released video shows just how violent and dangerous Kilauea's lava fissures remain more than a week after the crisis began. There are now 19 active fissures. Officials say the lava flowing from them is slowing, but shows no sign of stopping. It's moving southward toward the ocean and growing ever closer to a primary evacuation route.
It's a little over a mile from Highway 137.
This is what the inside of the Kilauea volcano looked like on Monday of last week, filled with bubbling lava. But this is how it looked just 5 days later. The lava drained away and was no longer visible from above.
We think the lava column is continuing to drop. We don't actually know if it's reached the water table or if it's gone below the water table.
Scientists say falling boulders could create a blockage and the possibility of massive steam explosions. Tourism officials say the Big Island has lost more than $5 million due to canceled reservations.
Now to the growing volcano threat in Hawaii. Officials raising the alert level this morning as more cracks appear. Take a look at these satellite images showing Hawaii's Big Island a year ago and now. After those eruptions, after those eruptions, our chief national correspondent Matt Gutman is on the ground with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Scientists are telling us that those towering clouds of ash that you just saw are the start of what you could call the main event here. They say that ash could smother parts of the island, could close down the airports, and this could last for 2 weeks and is only forecast to intensify. The Kilauea volcano firing burst after burst of volcanic ash skyward. Those columns of gas and ash reaching 12,000 feet, growing more explosive this morning, dropping ash on sections of the Big Island of Hawaii, what scientists are calling the start of the biggest explosive eruption at Kilauea since 1924. Officials warning residents living near the volcano to stay indoors and airplanes to stay away. That volcanic ash mixing with rain clouds and producing acid rain. All this comes as the 20th fissure cracked open the earth, pumping out clouds of sulfur dioxide. Officials here declaring a condition red, parts of the Big Island with the gas posing an immediate danger to health. We walked down roads impassable and cracked open by those thermal vents. These plants haven't been burned. It is some of the fumes that have actually killed them over the past 10 days of continuous exposure to this hazardous gas. At least 5 new eruptions since Saturday, rattling some of the 400 residents who defied the mandatory evacuation orders. The lava in those fissures is draining from Kilauea. The volcano's cauldrons are dipping. Michael, now, while it's important to note that 2,000 people have been ordered to flee their homes and 40 structures have been destroyed, nobody's been actually hurt by this volcanic activity. In fact, you could say the biggest casualty here has been Hawaii tourism, which largely relies on the Volcano National Park, but its closure and people's fear has caused tourism bookings to drop here by 50%.
Whoa! After warning signs Kilauea would blow, today it happened. The eruption spitting rocks into the air, shooting a massive plume of smoke and ash 30,000 feet.
We may have additional larger events, more powerful events, kind of like what we saw earlier this morning.
Today's eruptions come after 2 weeks of volcanic activity. Earthquakes, fissures, and toxic gases have turned this tropical paradise into hell for some.
You can't compare it to anything I've seen.
Wow. Mark Clausen lives among the lobbying lava bombs.
What's it like to see that? Kind of getting used to it, but frankly, it was a little unnerving.
Today's eruption raising new health concerns over sulfur dioxide venting into the air. Locals also bracing for ashfall.
It's so thick and you can't breathe. You can't breathe.
With geologists warning of more explosions, geysers of fire threaten homes around the clock.
Even at a safe distance from the fissures, you can feel the ground shake and hear what sounds like a jet engine overhead. Lava has been shooting out of the ground for 2 weeks here.
Kilauea's fire and fury met today by a blast of smoke and ash, with a warning more may be on the way.
At Kilauea's crater, geologists say today's blast may have been the first and last, or it may be the start of a series. They simply don't know. Meantime, Lester, I want to give you a live picture from our second camera just behind me. It's in a local neighborhood here where those massive fissures continue to spout hot lava and toxic gases into the air. That explosion at the crater may be over, but neighborhoods here today are still under siege.
As molten fireballs launch through the air, tonight more than 20 fissures splitting the earth open in Pahoa are exploding with vengeance.
The house has been shaking for 2 solid weeks.
A wave of lava oozing down streets is threatening more homes.
Actively exploding 24 hours a day, there's no sign when the fissures will stop.
It comes as sulfur dioxide pours out from the ground.
Looks like I'll be giving the doctor a call to see what we can do.
That massive plume of ash and soot from Kilauea's crater slowly raining down. 18,000 masks handed out.
Some could not breathe, and it was from the fog.
Fog, or volcanic smog, is a dangerous mixture of particles from Kilauea. Tonight, the volcano, a cauldron of trouble, toxic in the air and explosive on the ground.
Well, the situation on Hawaii's Big Island is reaching new and more dangerous levels today. Lava is pushing in on key escape routes and creating potentially life-threatening conditions. Megan Roberts is tracking that story for us. So, Megan, what is the latest?
We have now learned, Natasha, that lava has crossed one of those highways, one of those key escape routes, and now part of that highway is shut off. This is described as a critical access point. This is the main evacuation route for some residents, and you can see the situation on Hawaii's Big Island right there. These incredible aerial photos of all of that lava, those streams of lava just going all throughout the island. So we know parts of that highway are now closed. Authorities are asking people to stay out of that area, and they're looking at backup plans now for other evacuation routes, including trying to clear a section of another road that was blocked by lava in 2014. So what they're actually trying to do is bulldoze through almost 1.5 kilometers of hardened lava. Now, when this lava crossed that highway, it went towards the ocean, and it has now hit the ocean. It's entered the ocean. And when lava does that, it creates another danger for residents on this island. It sends hydrochloric acid as well as steam with fine glass particles into the air, and this causes lung eye and skin irritation as well as breathing difficulty. So multiple dangerous situations going on for residents of this island. And all of this happened, both the crossing of the highway and the entering of the ocean, when lava from two huge cracks merged and created a single stream. Natasha.
Those pictures are just incredible, but we're also now hearing about the first person who suffered a serious injury as a result of the eruptions. What can you tell us about that?
This was a man who was sitting on his third-floor balcony when a piece of lava spatter hit him in the shin. It actually shattered his shin, according to the county mayor spokesperson, shattered parts of his leg. And that's because pieces of lava spatter can weigh as much as a refrigerator, and the county spokesperson said that even small pieces can be deadly. So this is the first serious injury we've heard of as a result of all of this volcanic activity. And we're also hearing from scientists that they're expecting even more lava, potentially even hotter lava, to start coming from the ground in fountains of up to 182 meters.
All right, so new this morning, look at that. The molten lava and ash blasting thousands of feet into the air were not enough to worry about. The Big Island of Hawaii now facing a new threat. As the lava hits the ocean, it would send hydrochloric acid and volcanic glass particles into the air. Our Scott McLean, he's out there in the middle of it all. Scott, give us the latest.
Hey, John. Well, seeing something like this is undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most people, but for people who live here on the Big Island of Hawaii, they are happy that it's only once in a lifetime because this is a never-ending nightmare. Let me show you what we're seeing from our vantage point. This is where all of the lava is coming from. This is actually 5 fissures combined, but it doesn't look like cracks in the earth. It looks more like 5 out-of-control fire hydrants. Of course, that lava has to go somewhere, and so it is cascading down these fast-moving lava flows, and eventually it is reaching the ocean. And you can actually see it from our vantage point there, that red steam over there in 2 different places. Now, from new pictures that we're seeing, that those clouds, it may look like simple steam. but it is much more nefarious than that. It is something called lava haze or laze, and it is a mixture of sulfuric acid and tiny particles of glass. It can be quite dangerous at worst, perhaps even deadly. I want to show you one other thing, John, and that is right over there. This is a fissure that we've been watching now for the past 8 nights in a row, and it may look relatively benign, at least from this standpoint, but I can tell you it is not. We were at a woman's house maybe a quarter mile, maybe half a mile away from there, and the sheer force of that fissure, because there's the odd explosion that happens maybe once or every minute or two, it actually blew out 2 of her windows. So this is really, nothing to think lightly of. It can potentially be quite hazardous. Now, if it's not the lava that's pushing people out, it might be the gas. That is because geologists say that sulfur dioxide levels, they have actually tripled in recent days, creating a lot of problems for people. And one other thing to point out, John, and that is the explosions that we're hearing. Again, you can hear those explosions. They are incredibly loud. The explosions that we're seeing at the summit of Kilauea have actually lessened, become less frequent and smaller in recent days. In fact, there was one just about 3 hours ago that was quite small relatively. That may be good news for this time being, but it may also mean that a much bigger explosion could be coming.